What's up, YouTube? Jonathan Pariente, the Execution 10 here, coming at you guys with another video. I want to ask you guys to please continue to check and subscribe to my channel for more YouTube videos. And as you can see, you know what time it is. Football season is right around the corner, just 5 days away. The Jets will kick off their regular season on September 8th against the Buffalo Bills. And before I dive into the expectations for the Jets and where they're going to head, I want to go back a little bit in time, because this Jet team has come very far from where they were last year. A whole new coaching staff, a whole new team, a second-year quarterback, whole new uniforms, everything. And we're going to now dive into really how this Jet story began early in 2019. And believe me, this did not take a week. This took a bunch of months. But I'm very happy to say that I think the Jets finally have a team now that people can be proud of. And I think one that people have a lot of big expectations for in September to come. So let's kind of dive back in time and begin with where this story began. And it all began on January 11th, 2019, when the Jets had fired Todd Bowles. They fired their coaching staff. They made all these changes, and it began with the hiring of Adam Gase. Now, people were very critical of this move. I was. After all, when you have a guy at a press conference that really gives you this, with these wide eyes and creepy gazes, who would be surprised? Who wouldn't be scared? But Adam Gase has really stabilized this team. Really a good guy at developing quarterbacks, a great offensive mind, and I think it's something the Jets have needed for a long time, and I think he'll be the perfect person to develop the Jets' second-year quarterback, Sam Darnold, who really now has shown that this is his team. This is the quarterback the Jets have been looking for over 50 years, and now they finally have found their guy. Then let's move on 5 days later. The Jets sign Greg Williams to be their new defensive coordinator. They named him onto their staff, a guy that not only is going to be one of the great minds at defense alongside Rex Ryan. I think Greg Williams is just as up to the level of Rex as anyone. He holds his players accountable. He's going to demand they play a certain way, and he will not tolerate anything less. Somebody that will really add an edge to the Jet defense, that will really allow them to play with a little bit of a meanness to them, something that they were lacking for the past 5 years since Rex Ryan left. But now I'm happy to say, with Greg Williams at the helm, the Jets defense is going to have much more of a meanness and more of a drive and an edge to them, for sure. Then let's fast forward a little bit to the players the Jets signed. March 13th, the Jets made the biggest splash of the offseason, signing Le'Veon Bell, 4 years, $52.5 million. Le'Veon Bell sat out all of last year, did not get the money he wanted, so he did not play. So now the Jets are getting a very healthy Bell, who's 1 year removed from playing, and he is going to add the big playmaking ability to the Jet offense that they never had. Finally, he's going to be somebody not only you could trust to run the ball with, but someone who can catch the ball out of the backfield, and Sam Darnold is going to do a tremendous job, I think, getting the ball to Bell at all times. Also, Bell can block pretty well, too, which I think is a good quality to the game, and the Jets have needed that type of running back for a very long time. The Jets haven't had one of those running backs in their game since Curtis Martin, and Le'Veon Bell, I think, is going to really add another element to the Jets in how they move the ball around. And let's fast forward a little bit more. The Jets then acquire C.J. Mosley and Jamison Crowder and Joshua Bellamy on March 15th of 2019, just 2 days after getting Bell. Mosley, another guy from the Ravens, will add a little extra toughness to that Jet defense, being a linebacker. Jamison Crowder will be another deep threat the Jets can get the ball to, as is Joshua Bellamy, and he can also play special teams very well. Moving a little further, the Jets then acquired Ty Montgomery, who will be another good piece for special teams. Had his falling out with Green Bay, I get it. But I think with the Jets, he's going to really up his game, I think, a lot more. Then in April, the Jets in the draft pick Quinnen Williams with the 3rd overall pick. They eventually signed him to a 4-year deal. And Quinnen Williams, now you put him on the line with Mosley, with Leonard Williams, and with Jamal Adams. You talk about one of a fierce front 4 on that Jet defense that will really add their brand of hard play, that will add their own brand of intimidation. Something that in the past the Jets were always known for was having a great defense. You go back in time to the Sons of Anarchy. You go back in time to the New York Sack Exchange. When the Jets had a fearsome 4 on their defense, pretty much each of those couple decades in the 80s and in the 2010s. That's what the Jets were known for, was building a defense. And now these pieces are going to help the Jets to really take their game to the next level, and we'll see if they can be that shutdown defense I think they really could become. Then we move ahead a little more. Jets, in May 16th, sign Robbie Anderson, and Anderson has proven himself to be a great deep threat wide receiver, and now that you have Jamison Crowder there, that's another piece the Jets can get the ball to. You'll have David Herndon coming back for another year. He is going to miss 4 games, though, with the suspension, but he's another piece the Jets really have made a good find with and really can add to their receiving core. July 25th, the Jets signed Quinnen Williams to 4 years. Okay. Then on August 1st, the Jets were able to add Ryan Khalil, a former center. He had retired at one point, but came out of retirement, and now he will boost up the Jets' front with a good center now to snap the ball to the quarterback. Hopefully he will be able to fill the shoes Nick Mangold did in his days with the Jets. Then the Jets made a couple other little moves here and there. September 2nd was the most recent move. They hire Hines Ward to be their offensive assistant coach. And Hines Ward is going to really help the Jet receiving core. You talk about a perfect mentor to Robbie Anderson, a perfect mentor for Crowder, a perfect mentor for any Jet that catches the ball. He's going to allow this Jet receiving core to know their routes. He's going to help them really become breakout weapons for Darnold. I can finally say the Jets are in very good hands. And then, of course, Joe Douglas was hired as the Jets general manager. Gase took over the role for a short week, and then in came Mr. Douglas after the Jets had fired Mike McCagnon. So the Jets, as you can see, did a complete overhaul of their football team. And now you wonder, will the Jets be able to put all these pieces together for the coming season? Now, I'm going to say the Jets do not have an easy schedule, and in fact, I would like to dive right into the schedule that the Jets are going to be dealing with this year. And is it going to be an easy one? No. The Jets are going to be challenged, and they're going to face some very good teams and very good quarterbacks along the way. And let's hit the right music for this one, and here we go. So let's begin with the Jets' first opponent. I mentioned it is the Buffalo Bills. Should be a very familiar opponent for the Jets. The Jets know Buffalo extremely well. They've had their past issues with them. But knowing that this game will be at MetLife, and knowing this is the first game, the Jets are going to want to come out to show their fans how far they've come. I will not be surprised if the Jets lay a romping on Buffalo and really show the NFL that this is a whole new Jet team and one that could soon dominate in the near future. Now, the rest of the way, things are going to get a lot tougher. You call this a must-win game, it is a must-win game. The Jets are going to be taking on, aside from obviously their own division, they're taking on the NFC East and the AFC North this year. You talk about very tough teams on those conferences. The NFC East, the Jets should know very well who's in there. That's the Giants. They're going to see the Cowboys, they're going to see the Eagles, and they're going to see the Redskins. The North, you're going to see the Steelers, Browns, Ravens, and Bengals. And let's go into week 2, and this is where the first hurdle gets thrown for the Jets. It's going to be the Cleveland Browns, a Monday night game at the MetLife Stadium against Baker Mayfield. And, well, it's ironic. A year ago, the Jets gave birth to Baker Mayfield when they injured Tyrod Taylor. So it's only interesting now that Baker Mayfield gets to start this game fully now against the Jets. And I'm curious how the Jets will handle a new-look Browns team that really got a lot more dangerous adding Odell Beckham to their receiving core, and to go along with having Kareem Hunt, who right now is still on a suspension, but he will bolster that line of the Browns. tell you, the Browns are not to be laughed at anymore, and the Jets are going to have to really earn that now when they play Baker on week 2. New England is then next week 3. Jets then have a bye in week 4. Then it gets even harder. Carson Wentz right after the bye week at Philly. Jets, by the way, play New England that first game at New England, so that's going to be a very, very tall task for a Jet team. So that's the first 5 games already. So you really look at this. The Jets are being thrown a literal virtual gauntlet in their first 5 games. Cleveland, New England, Philly, Dallas. That's their first 5 games. So if the Jets can even go 2-3 or 3-2, I like that. That's actually going to be a dream if they can go 3-2. They go 4-1. That's a blessing beyond belief. Then it gets harder. Week 7, New England again. The Jets are going to play New England literally twice in 4 weeks. A couple of them are going to be coming off short weeks off Monday night games. So the Jets are really going to be thrown into a bit of a gauntlet the first 6 games. And how they handle it, we're going to have to see. This is a real test for them. Week 8 will be at Jacksonville. Week 9 will be at Miami. Week 10, they play the Giants at MetLife. Jets will be treated as the home team. Week 11 is at Washington. Week 12 will be against Oakland. Week 13 against Cincinnati. Week 14 against Miami. And then the last 3 weeks are going to be, again, those hell weeks. Week 15 at Baltimore, and then Week 16 at home to the Steelers. And then they end it at Buffalo, Week 17. So the Jets are not going to be given an easy schedule. And if the Jets are really serious about being this team that could turn things around, this is a good test for them to see if they can really break out. Will it be an easy one? No. But Sam Darnold showed you something last year, and that was without good talent last year. He got better as the season went on. He now has weapons to get the ball to. The Jets have a defense that I think could really make an impact. I think this Jet team can score 20 points a game now with Darnold at the helm and with the weapons they have. So anything less than 20 a game is going to be a complete letdown. Does it mean the Jets are going to win all these games? No. But I roughly see the Jets. I could see the Jets being a playoff team. Maybe at least a wild card. I don't see them winning the East. Not yet. As long as Brady and Belichick are there, nobody's beating New England. I'm sorry to say it. But as far as where I see the Jets coming as of this year and maybe when Brady leaves, you really have to admit that the future looks bright for this club. So at the end of the day, I guess, here's where I'm going to put the Jets here. They're going to be a wild card. As for what their record's going to be will really tell us a story. And I think you have to look at the 1-2 games on that schedule that are going to really decide if the Jets are a wild card this year. And I think it's going to be the last 3 games of the year. It's not the beginning of the year that I'm worried about. It's the last 3. The Ravens and the Steelers are 2 known football teams that the Jets have dealt with in the past, and they're 2 teams that usually regularly, if not they don't win the North, they make it in as a wild card. So I feel if the Jets are able to win against either of them, or both of them for that matter, their Jets' chances of getting a wild card are pretty much a lock. Pretty much. Not confirmed, but pretty much a lock if you beat the Ravens and the Steelers. The Browns are going to be there as well, so that's going to be a very tall task in addition to for the Jets. So, at the end of the day, where do the Jets finish this season, and are they a playoff team? My answer is yes, they will be a playoff team. I predict they will go 10-6. Okay? Call me crazy, but I think 10-6 is a realistic goal I see the Jets getting to for 2019. The Jets have a team I think you can be very proud to see on the field, and I think if the Jets make an impact in the first 5 games, I think the Jets will be untouchable. If they can get by the rough gauntlet they're going to see in the first 6 games, I think the Jets have a realistic shot of being a playoff team and maybe making a playoff run with Sam Darnold. I think the Jets really can show you something, and we're going to find that out. Week 1 is going to give us a lot of answers to these questions. Are the Jets ready for what 2019 is going to bring. Are they finally going to be a team under Adam Gase that will make an impact this year and for years to come? We will find out. But until then, Jonathan Pariente, The Education 10, saying bye for now.